My dog's been up here, so see the dog hair? He's been all over me. Hey, Sally, you're here. How are you doing? And Miss M's here. Hi, Evie. How are you? Oh, and Mrs. G and Debbie Sue. My core tribe is showing up. How are y'all doing this evening? My thing's whopper jawed. There. Do you say that, Debbie Sue? Whopper jawed? I was watching the replay on your live, Mrs. G. Trying to give you some watch time hours. So, oh, you were the first one in. You beat Debbie Sue, right? Now they're going to have a crown war. Competition. Everybody loves some competition. So, I tell you, it's time change. How many of y'all have adjusted to the time change? Oh, Sally's number one. You'll be the referee, Miss M. Good luck on that. There's some competitive people in here, and they can get crazy. Yep. Oh, Gina, you're getting adjusted to the time change. Well, I thought I kind of had slipped by it, but because I was out of town, we stayed up late watching the World Series and all of that, and kind of got into a different schedule. So I come home and I was doing good. And then this morning I woke up early. So, oh, thank you. I have on my dragonflies, Miss Sally. Miss Sally found out I liked dragonflies, and guess what happened? She showered me with dragonflies, and I love it. I love it. So, oh, do tell, Paula. Paula D. Who's Paula D? Oh, Miss Paula just come in. Hey, Miss Paula. The gang's here. That's right. So, anyway, I usually fix this to where my chat is over here where I can see it. Oh. Any of y'all started decorating for Christmas? I can't get this to work. Can't get it to work. Paula said, not me. Miss M says, not yet. Debbie says, no. Oh. Daryl and you were talking about me. I see. I don't know. Can't get it to work. Now, Evie said, not yet. Mrs. G hasn't either. My husband put our Christmas decorations out in the yard. And so he's got those going, and he said he was going to finish up the rest of it this next weekend. Of course, the weather's nice here right now, so it is a good time to do it, because a lot of times by the time we would normally do it. The weather's icky. So, so Paula talking about Paula? Is Paula talking about Paula? Oh, y'all, are y'all planning a skit? Well, see, Miss M's got number one. She has busted a move and got number one. Hey, she's not refereeing, she's taking over. The war is on. Okay. Hey, Labano, 9:55. I'm good. So, how are you this evening? We are doing good. They are having a crown war. Somebody's trying to get the number one crown. Anyway, there's Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia. Are you on vacay? How's it going? I've missed you being on YouTube. I haven't been on YouTube a whole lot, but I've checked and you haven't been on. You sure are. You're having a good time. So that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I have missed you. You haven't been on. I've looked. I thought, where's her little live she was going to do? But that's okay. You'll be back and we'll be here. So I kind of picked a topic that I've heard several people, a few of you've done videos on this. I've heard Sally talk about it, and that's dealing with depression this time of year. And I know a lot of people do, like seasonal depression, not the seasonal affective disorder. That's usually caused by bad, dreary weather and the sun not being out. So, um, Evie said she's missed you, Cynthia. She hasn't been able to take a shower and get ready since you've been gone. So, see, you're missed. Seasonal depression, yes, and it comes a lot from this time of year, and it's no, it's not sad, Sally. That's seasonal affective disorder. That is when the weather gets real dreary for days, like the sun's not out in the winter time where you can't get out. I'm talking about this time of year around the holidays. Yes, Julie, you've got it. It's hard to face the holidays while grieving, but there's some other components. Some people that maybe lived in a real chaotic house and that things were like there was maybe a lot of drama around the holidays or things happened. I know that I dealt with this, and when I kind of addressed some of the trauma triggers and some of the stuff, I don't as much anymore because around the holidays, you know, there was a lot of chaos or things that happened, and I would walk on eggshells and I would be afraid that I would say just the wrong thing, or because I lived in alcoholism. I was married to an alcoholic, and so I never knew when things were going to blow up, and it seemed to be there was more alcohol around the holidays and this sort of thing. So, and then there was a lot of conflict over whose house we were going, and there was a lot of fights and a lot of things. So there was that, and I internalized that. And then even after I got out of that situation, I mean, for years, I just dreaded the holidays. And it just, it's because your body remembers the trauma. It's in your subconscious. And so this time of year starts coming and you start feeling that feeling, that little bit of angst or whatever about, and you don't even know what's wrong. But whenever you awareness is 90% of the battle. A lot of times you become aware of why, and then you can think, oh, and it's your body takes on the threat, whether there is a threat or not. That's how trauma affects us. So yes, Julie, we hold it in our body and the memories are held. So there's different things that happened. And so, and Sally said, for decades, I get like that November and December. You're really fighting it this year. So some of it is, we can go back into those memories and try to remember there's some good things. I couldn't remember any of the good things. All I could remember was, you know, the time that I did something wrong, and it was the argument until 2 in the morning, and all of those different things. I am Labano. I am from Texas, so you can check out my channel. I talk about a lot of things. So I'm a licensed professional counselor, and a lot of my topics are about self improvement and personal development and that sort of thing. So um, it's that feeling. That's right, Sally. Um, and that's another thing is having a significant death around the holidays, or in that you know that person's not around. But even when you kind of process the grief and everything, that you may not even know what's going on. That's the thing. And when you become aware of kind of what's going on, then there's things that you can do. You can you know do the reframing of there's nothing threatening me. The holidays are calm now. I can choose for them to be calm. No one comes to my house for the holidays. I go to my son's for Christmas. No one's going to be here for Thanksgiving. We are babysitting my in my in-laws, two dogs, and they're going to South Texas to see their best friend. So, there's no threat. I don't have to worry about somebody's going to blow up or be upset or, burn the tree down, knock the tree over. and, you know, um, and then, Paula talking about losing her sister. I think losing a sibling is really hard or really significant. So, um, you're right, Sally. Chaotic memories in that they're in your subconscious. And a good way to process those out is, you know, you can I like to the unsent letter thing. The person that caused all the chaos, or the one that maybe affected you, you can write them an unsent letter and then release it to God. Take it outside, burn the letter, watch the smoke go up to God in heaven, and you release it. And then, while it's burning, you look at that fire and you tell yourself, if I want to take all that back, I have to stick my hand in the fire. And so it's a release of you flush all that stuff out. And so those are just some things that when I work with people, when I do coaching or whatever, if they have some of that, then they do this assignment, and they do that. There's a detailed description of that, Sally, in my workbooks. I don't know which one, but I know it's in there. So, um, Kentucky Life with Debbie is here. Oh, a good friend and I were talking this week about childhood. She had a raging alcoholic dad, and mine was so religious, but I always felt safe. And that's a key component. And if you're raised in alcoholism, it's can be chaotic, um, and it's not always the alcoholic causing the chaos. I can attest to that because I certainly caused a lot of the chaos in my household. So everybody's saying hi to each other. Yeah. Yes. Kentucky Life with Debbie. And there's Simply Debbie Sue. And Mrs. Paula Does Retirement. And Heartily Happy. These are channel names. Evie's retired. Who else? Sally D's Reality. These are all YouTube creators. Go check out their channels. They have great content. Um, so Mrs. G is doing her game night tomorrow night. Answer the question. I'm ready. Starts at 5 o'clock. I may not even be home from work by then. I work on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So anyway, oh, and I have a message from Carol. She said if any of y'all are interested in checking out her apron, she's been working on aprons. One special apron that's I know about. It's almost done. And she's going to post some of them that she has for sale on Instagram and Facebook under Curvy Girl Aprons. It's at Curvy Girl Aprons. I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to put it in the chat. And she, I guess she was sending me, if anyone's interested, I got my number. I can text you her. She's got a website. She's trying to work on all that stuff. So, yes, styling and profiling. I've already seen one. I have the inside scoop, as you know. So, anyway, she has some really cute ones. Oh my goodness. And she's making dog kerchiefs or whatever those things are. What else is she making? She talked about making stockings for Christmas. Anyway, she's just sewing up a storm, since she's not on YouTube. So, and still haven't really figured that one out, but she's, I think, accepted it. So she's not here, and she said to tell everybody that she misses being here. So, so what did Cynthia say? Did Cynthia say something? Hi, Mike. How are you? She should get one for Rambo. You're right, a handkerchief for Rambo. Evie said, yes, Cynthia, my house as a child was violent and chaotic. We didn't need a holiday to bring it on. Well, I had a lot of that too. But in my marriage. So, and, you just never knew when it was going to, it was just always on guard, made me very hyper vigilant. but it also made me very empathetic, very insightful. I can read other people because I got really good at that. Hi, Rosani. How are you doing? That's right, Cynthia, walking on eggshells. You got really good at hiding. Yes. He would come home and I would check his demeanor. And if I thought he was going to be set off, then I would try to keep the kids calm, keep it all quiet. All it would take was when I'm knocking over their drink, and you know. So I can tell you a story about that walking on eggshells. I went and talked to our pastor, and that's what he told me to do. Just he'll calm down if you just kind of walk on eggshells for a little while. And I left there. It was like, I think I've been doing that. So, I'm glad you're doing well, Rosani. So, yeah, are you watching Survivor? I know I compete with Survivor. Mrs. G says she knows the feeling of walking on eggshells. It's a bad feeling. It is. It is a bad feeling. It's and it's real hyper vigilant. You just everything you try to adjust your behavior to control someone else's behavior, and you can't. You can't control anyone else's behavior. And when I finally got that in my head, that doesn't matter what I do, he's going to get set off. And I acted ugly. I can just say that. I wasn't very nice. I ended up using the same tactics that he had done. I would use on him, and then he would call me on it, and I'd tell him, you taught me well. He used to tell me I made him angry, and I made him do this, and I made him do that. And I remember finally told him, if I had that much power, I'd strike you with a lightning bolt. So my mouth, I call it, murdered him with my tongue. And I didn't have the courage to leave him until I finally did. Oh, you're laughing, You're laughing at me, Miss G. I was real sassy. Uh, I don't know if I'd call it sassy. It wasn't cute. I wasn't sassy at all. Now, this is my first marriage. We were married 24 years, and I divorced him. Real sass. You might take the S off of that. So Sally said, the sad thing is my brother, who I'm his caregiver, he is exactly like my father. And you try so hard to make everything okay for him. So he doesn't go off on you. Well, I understand that, Sally, but it's trying to be rational with an irrational or drunk person is like donning armor to protect myself from a nuclear explosion. Doesn't work very well. So I did, I did what I have right here on my computer. Forgive yourself for what you did while living in survival mode. And I have, because when you live in alcoholism or abuse and chaos and violence, you adjust, you readjust, and you maladjust. And that's what happens. And that's what happened to me. But I also know that God intervened in my life. He brought just the right people to help me through counseling. And I went to Al Anon and, some other things. And I can say I am a different person today. Miss M, it's hard for me to forgive myself, but I'm working on it. Yes, it is. And, that's a process. You have to make the decision you're going to, and then it's a process. I think that, only God can help us forgive, whether it's them or ourselves, and it is a process. We have to decide to forgive, and then we gradually work on it. And I like the analogy of the little boy that tries to lift the 100-pound barbell and he can't do it, and he keeps trying it, and finally his father walks over, puts his hand on either side of the barbell, and together they can pick it up. And that's the analogy of that. For me, that barbell is 100-pound weight, and God comes and wraps his arms around me and puts his hands on it, and together we can lift it. So anyway, that's my preaching for tonight, Mrs. G. I can get on my soapbox and be sassy while I'm doing it. Oh, yeah. But preach it, sister. I think that the unsent letter, or what happens is we store all of that in our body, and the you have to flush that stuff out. A lot of people don't want to address that, but it's like if you had a wound and it was full of dirt and stuff, and you don't clean it out, it's going to get infected. And so you got to scrape all of that out, and treat it and bandage it, but you can't heal it. Only God can heal it. But you can take care of it, and you can do some things that promote healing. And that's, you got to clean that out. When I work with people, I say, would you say you got the opportunity, you could go in your favorite store and buy a whole new wardrobe, and you bring it home and stuff it in the old closet with all the old clothes. Well, that's kind of what you're doing if you try to put new stuff in where you haven't cleaned out the old. So you can bring the stuff home and put it on the bed, clean out the old stuff, and gradually you put the new stuff in. And that's kind of how healing works, through, the process of working through some of this stuff. So Cynthia said it's self-protection. It is self-protection. But and then, healing from that stuff. But if it sits there, that's the reason it comes out as depression in those times of years. If there was something significant that happened, and the holidays have always been, that I remember from those holidays, were very chaotic, sometimes violent, and I was on a heightened type of so that, because there was always something that happened: vacation, holidays, birthdays. Um, Miss M, can I be honest with everyone? I think you can. We're pretty safe here, pretty safe group. Or maybe you want to email me. You're making new memories, and that's a good thing, to imprint new memories over that stuff. Having friends over. Yes, Cynthia, spending time with friends. Um, and a lot of nurturing yourself. That's right, Mrs. G. She said, I've let a lot of stuff sit And there were times I felt like nobody would understand, so you just kept it inside. And that's right. And I think, today especially YouTube as a platform, th- there's a lot of people who are sharing authentically and sharing their struggles and sharing about what some things that happened to them and how they reacted to that. And so there's a lot of people that understand, you know. Emmy said, I do that all the time, Mrs. G. Sally, I was always so embarrassed when my friends would walk past our house and my dad was screaming at the top of his lungs every single day. Yes, that's true. And I talk at conferences, and when I tell my story, I talk about, I don't know why we're anonymous when we come into this program, because we were all out in the front yard with the cops there, and there was, an ambulance, and he got arrested that day, and we were in the front yard. All the neighbors were outside, and he is drunk and yelling and hissing, and it you know and that was kind of the catalyst that, I thought it was the worst day of my life. It ended up being the best day of my life because we both got help. So Paula said, you're impressed, Labani? It's my story. There's a lot of stories with a lot of people. Cindy said, yes, Sally, I know exactly what you mean. Paula said, my dad had a chaotic childhood. He went to bed hungry many nights, but he rose above it to be a good dad to all of us. He was a good Christian man. Yes. I think that my dad may have had, some stuff. He didn't talk about much of anything, but my parents were good Christian parents. They didn't cram it down our throats. They modeled the behavior. They were. So Sally said, "That's awesome, Paula, that you had a wonderful memories of your dad." Um, I, you know, I do too. My dad. I was closer to my dad than I was my mom, which. mm, Miss M said, my mind is dark tonight, but I'll be okay. Just keep telling yourself that God loves you and we love you. And just let that love bathe you. Yes. Miss G said, Miss M, it's tough. So glad to be in a better place now. Yes. Yeah. So, and so I think that just from the feed here, that there's a lot of reasons that you would feel some extra things this holiday season, um, that, maybe someone's not going to be around for the holidays, or there's contention in family members, or those past memories. And, I had to really plug into God's love to be able to overcome self-loathing and low self-esteem, and just so many things, because I felt that stuff, and then I got with somebody that validated it every single day for me, and so I was pretty beat up. Sally said, I used to tell my mom that she should crush up her Paxil and put it in his coffee. He would always demand her go make me a coffee. And I said, why don't you just do that, Mom? I understand that one, Sally, meaning my mom should put the medicine in his drink instead of her having to take it. So, Miss Pam, sorry I'm so late. I do find it difficult this time of year. Yes, yes, it is. It is difficult this time of year. We've been talking about a pretty heavy subject about um, abuse, neglect, exploitation, trauma, chaotic violence, alcoholism, and how all of being, around that or raised in that, that how even though you may not be in it anymore, that this time of year gets hard and a lot of people suffer from depression because in those type of environments, the holidays are extra chaotic. So that's kind of what we've been talking about. Um, oh, I'm supposed to ask you something, Paula from Carol. She just texted me quietly. Quietly ask you. Let me see what she said. So, Abby said, Sally, when I went back to the neighborhood I lived in growing up, the neighbors said they could hear all the screams from our house, us kids screaming. No one said or did anything. That is so sad. So sad. Sally said, I was desperate for some peace. That's why I told her that. Yeah. Let me see. Paula, you need to check your messages from Carol. I said it quietly. Sally said my father was very verbally abusive. Yeah. Well, that's the way my first husband was. He was verbally abusive and he would throw stuff and tear stuff up. And I can remember the first counselor I went to asked me, you've been living in domestic violence. And I said, well, he doesn't hit me. And she said, no, I'm talking about domestic violence. That is violence and you are living in it. And I was like, whoa. I thought because he didn't hit me that it wasn't abusive. I was pretty beat down. So Pam said, I'm so sorry, Evie. So, of course, being a licensed professional, if I even perceive that's going on, I have to report it legally. Yeah. I've called police from the Walmart parking lot. I have. Not on little kids, but on a guy with the way he was treating some woman. So Evie said, I am much better now. My mom wasn't mean. It was my dad. My mom would put makeup on my face to go to school by second grade to cover handprint bruises. Yeah. Yeah. And that's hard stuff. And you don't ever get over that stuff. I know people say, well, just get over it. Just get over it. You don't get over it. You can get past some of it, but it'll haunt you. Trauma haunts you. And sometimes there's triggers that you don't even realize until you're triggered. You just have to become aware of what it feels like when you get triggered and know the coping skills to do something with that. I know, Evie. I usually go about an hour, and I've been on here about 40 minutes. Labano. Am I saying your name right? Labano. So, yeah. Sally said, Evie said, the hard part is he lives with me now. And Sally said, I was just thinking that, Evie. I had my dad living with me too for a while. Evie said, I've forgiven him and he did apologize. There was so much more that I really can't say on here. So Sally said, I don't know how you do it. You know, Miss M, I know it's hard when you don't have. I'll be your grandma. I'm old enough. So, um, yeah, I, you know, after I divorced my first husband, 6 months after our divorce, he found out he had cancer. And when he got really bad, my sister-in-law asked me if I'd help her take care of him when he was in the hospital. She was having bad panic attacks, and her mom was sick, and so I went and sat with him in the hospital and helped take care of him. And it was hard, but he was on morphine, so he was very congenial. That's kind of like what you were telling your mom, Sally. I wish I'd have known that. I put it in his cereal years ago. But he started reminiscing about all the fun we had, because we did, and the good times, stuff I couldn't remember. And he had made amends to me, and it was very healing, and I'm grateful that I did that. And so, yeah. So that's part of my story. I talk about, we never could dance together because I always wanted to lead. Not any control there, but I did want to lead. We couldn't dance together, and he wanted to dance. And I actually could, by this time, about 3 years of working on myself, I could let him lead, and we danced in the hospital. And I like to share that I think about the word guidance, and it's spelled GUI, dance, and it's God, you, and I dance. And that's, somebody has to lead in that, and that word is how we get through things, with guidance, with God, you, and I. So thank you, Miss G. It was courageous. I told my mentor, I don't want to do that. And you know what she told me, Gina? She said, it's all right that you don't want to, just as long as you do. So, but yeah, I like to tell that story, and that I had to learn to let God lead, and I have to allow you in, and the three of us can dance. And isn't life a dance? Mike said, I've never heard it said that way before. Thank you. You're very welcome, Mike. Every time I see that word guidance, that's what I think. God, you, and I dance. So, but that's part of my story. And yeah. Terry's just doing her thing. Just getting here. Yes, lots of depression this time of year. Yes, ma'am, there is. We've been talking about that. And welcome, Terry. And so I talked about how when you live in chaos or trauma or alcoholism or violence, the holidays, if you did live in that they were very chaotic and very, anxiety driven. And so this time of year, a lot of people hold that in their body, and they begin to feel that depression, and they don't realize that it's that your body remembers that stuff, and becoming aware of it and knowing that that's what it is. And some reframing and telling yourself that you're safe, you're not threatened, it's going to be okay. Those type of things that help you get through it. What is it? Mel says, Mel Robbins. You put your hand over your heart and you go, "I am safe. I am okay, and I am loved." And that putting that pressure on your vagus nerve helps lower your anxiety. That is a physical way to lower your anxiety. Is your vagus nerve is a big nerve that runs up and down your body. And when you start getting anxious, it tightens up. And humming and pressure on your middle of your chest relaxes it. So try humming, Miss M. Humming vibrates your vocal cords. And when that happens, it relaxes your vagus nerve. You can look it up online. Tapping, um, putting your hands over your heart, those type of things, and you say, "I am safe, I am okay, and I am loved." And so, well, I'm glad everyone was here tonight. Pretty heavy subject, pretty um it's but I think that it needs to be talked about. People need to know that there are other people and that they can reach out and talk to me. My email is on my YouTube channel. Any of you can email me and we can converse back and forth. Rosani said, you're telling part of my story. I left and returned after 3 months to caregive hubby in hospice at home while he was terminally ill. He's all gone and no more emotional abuse. I'm much better now. Yes. Um, I don't I don't know that my husband would have ever left me alone. He stalked me, threatened to kill me after I left him, and all of that sort of stuff. Matter of fact, I have a story about my experience with that on my YouTube channel. So Terry said, thank you. Hello, Sally. Had to find myself. Thanks for the topic. We do. We lose ourselves. It gets covered up. Just my video that's coming out Friday is about Young at Heart, and kind of talk about things happen, and that covers up our free spirit and our heart. So Sally's asking you where you've been, Miss Terry. Hadn't seen you around. So Mrs. G say thanks for sharing, Rhonda. Paula said hi, Terry. Terry said hi, Paula. Miss M said, I will message you. Please do that, Miss M. I'll get back to you. Might be Friday. Yeah, it's kind of my story about, what I went through with that. And so you've been dealing with severe depression. So many people do, laying low. And depression is really hard. I did a video about depression too earlier this year. I had several significant deaths, and it was dreary, and I got depressed. And so, the very things, being a therapist, I knew I was depressed, and all the things that we tell our clients to do, I don't want to do. I don't want to eat healthy. I didn't want to go walk. I don't want to get no exercise. I just did, and it's kind of a cynical view of that, but it's a little hilarious. And it's really funny just making the video and kind of fun making. I call it fun making it myself. Made me feel better. So it's and people that have never experienced depression don't get it. They do not understand that you don't just pull yourself out of it, snap out of it, like they say, or get over it. I don't know. They've never experienced it. Oh no, now Miss M's on the bandwagon. Oh no. She said, Sally, you're right about Rhonda being the next Mel Robbins. A struggle just getting dressed if you're not working. And that's right. Just and it's still, there's times that I'm trying to get around. It's like, I just want to go back to bed and cover up my head, but I don't. I push through, and I've learned some things to help fight the depression. Scripture helps me a lot. And I know you may not be, I guess, religious. I'm spiritual, and I was raised in a Christian home. So, and it's really funny getting older and being retired that there's so much scripture that has come back to me, and that I memorized. If you ever memorize it, it's still there. And so anyway, it's you need a purpose. Terry, so many people put the big emphasis on having a purpose, and we forget that we can have a purpose in the small things, just the everyday things, of just, and that's my thing. Be you on purpose. That's a purpose, is to be yourself and bloom where you're planted, and to just I don't know, little things. Get out and help someone. I know that when I can, like, I go to Walmart because gotta have groceries, so I go to Walmart, and as Debbie Sue would say, some wackadoodle, and they're, they can't reach something or whatever, and you just, hey, can I get that for you? Or stopping and talking to the older woman that's in the little buggy, or just, just the little things. So thanks, Sally. I love you too. I have read the book, The Purpose Driven Life. Yes. Miss M said, Sally, I love her too. Y'all can fight over me. Y'all already fought over the crowns. Evie said she's read that book and did the workbook. I did too, Evie. It's been a while back. Still got that stuff in there. And Sally said, I'm glad you checked out Mel Robbins. I was listening to her today earlier. The 3 questions you ask yourself, it was pretty good. So you were referring to Terry. Well, yeah, about the purpose-driven life. Yeah. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing? She says, I'm driving and listening. So been praying for you as you do your treatments. I hope everything's going okay. Don't answer if you're driving. But Terry said she was looking for a purpose. But Terry said, I will check that out, Sally. It's available in Audible, Sally said. My cousin bought it for me, Terry. Evie's retired. I still have my workbook, but I loaned it to someone. Don't remember who. I quit loaning books because of that. Evie said, hi, Jennifer. Terry's, to lighten up a bit, I can't wait to make mac and cheese for Thanksgiving with friends. Yeah, I bought a turkey and I made some cornbread. I don't know when that was. And I froze it to make dressing. cornbread dressing. Everyone's saying hi to Jen. Debbie Sue said, hi, Jen. Evie said, I think Jennifer is past the halfway point on her treatment. Yeah, 10. Yeah, I saw that today. Evie said, 10 down and 10 to go. Miss Sim, mac and cheese is my weakness. Isn't that the truth? Do you make homemade mac and cheese, Terry? So, Miss M said, hi, Jen. Jen said, I'm at a stoplight. Hi, everyone. So, everyone, Paula said, hi, Jennifer. Homemade mac and cheese. Wow. Sally said, Jennifer, are you doing okay? And then Terry said, hi, Jennifer. So, yeah, mac and cheese. My husband had said, let's just have tacos for Thanksgiving. But I really, really like turkey and dressing just on Thanksgiving. And because I love the dressing. And if I cook it, that may be all we have is turkey and dressing and gravy. So I can eat as much dressing as I want. Mac and cheese is yum, said Jennifer. Yes, homemade mac and cheese. I'm impressed. Oh, day 11 is finished. So you did that today. It's so fascinating the way they do that. It's just fascinating. Terry said giblet gravy. So do you cook a big meal? You're with your friends? We may be a day behind Evie because she puts the videos out, I guess, maybe from the day before. Because I thought it was day 10 too. So anyway, what else do you have, Terry, for Thanksgiving? Miss M says she prefers ham over turkey. Yeah, and I probably do, but I don't know. Gotta have turkey on Thanksgiving. That's it. You know, Evie said, your mother-in-law put sliced boiled eggs in her gravy. I put some cut up eggs in my gravy too. Yeah. Boiled eggs. Terry, all the fixings, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, green beans, corn, sweet potatoes. You do. So you have Thanksgiving with your friends? Stuffing. Yeah. I knew that's what you meant. Stuffing. Yeah. Where are you from, Terry? I don't know if I'm subscribed to you or not. I'll have to go check you out. With friends. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just being me and my husband and the dogs, as far as I know. Colorado. Where in Colorado? You probably don't want to tell me. I love Colorado. I go to Crested Butte. Used to every summer. I went 14 years to Crested Butte every summer. I think I remember that, but I can't remember if I don't write down stuff, Sally. And some mornings, I do good to join in the chat because my coffee hasn't kicked in. So I'm going to have to go check out our channel. And I tell you what, I need to write it down right now. I won't remember. Did you check, Paula? Are you still here? Did you check out Carol's message? I know. South of Denver. Your daughter lives in the mountains. Yeah. Okay. Says, I know I need to keep a notebook too, Rhonda. It's crazy. Evie said, right. So how are we supposed to play Mrs. G's game? Yeah, you got to take notes. Of course, she gave us the videos to watch. You raked leaves? Did you get your car cleaned out, Sally? I got to get this written down. Terry just doing her thing. I'm going to go check it out. I can't remember. So, well, all right. We have managed to go an hour. It was a great group tonight. We had some heavy stuff we talked about. I hope you gained some insight out of this. That's one of the reasons why I share some of my past stuff and what I've been through, and also how I've overcome some of it, and how it's made me a better person. So anyway, you did get your car cleaned out. Woohoo! And she's number one. Is that because everybody left? Oh my goodness. Well, I hope y'all have a great rest of your evening. Oh, Miss M said she gave her number one crown back. Terry said, nice to catch y'all. Go back and watch the beginning of the live. You do that, Terry. Go watch the first part of it, because we do talk quite a bit about depression and maybe where it stems from, because I think sometimes being aware of why that it is such a struggle this time of year provides insight and can help even elevate your mood some, just being aware of knowing that. So a lot of self-care, and give yourself grace. Give yourself some grace. That's you, Miss M and Terry and all of those that talked. Thank you for being here. I love my community. I love all of y'all. And as I say, remember to be you on purpose. I love you. Bye.